Hello, my name is Michael Griggs. I am the Director of Clinical Services for Breas, and I'm going to, over the next few minutes, go over the front panel of the device. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and turn the machine on, and you'll see right away that the ventilator is in standby, and there is an information box in the lower right-hand corner of the screen. Now, this information box may say something other than just, do you want to perform a pre-use test? But it may say that you've switched to an internal battery, or that perhaps you are now running on main power, okay? But the bottom line is that if you see an information box in the lower right-hand corner of the screen, that information box must be acknowledged. There is a button underneath the word OK. You just simply hit that button, and it acknowledges, or you're acknowledging what information was provided to you in that message, okay? So the device is now asking, do we want to perform a pre-use test? You can either hit the no option or the yes option. Now, the pre-use test does two things. Number one, it's going to recognize the type of circuit that's attached to the device. And number two, it's going to compensate for the compressible volume that's lost in the circuit. Okay, so what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is, for instance, for ventilators that do not compensate for that compressible volume, what happens is let's just say you've got 400 mLs that are being delivered to the patient, okay? That 400, if you think about the 400 mLs being delivered to this test lung, well, the 400 being measured, it stops right here, okay? So once that 400 is delivered, if you're not compensating for all that volume, then the patient or the lungs never receive that 400. They receive something less than that, because the air that's in the circuit never reaches the patient because the 400 was measured right here. So by doing that pre-use test procedure, it's going to compensate for that volume, which basically means that the 400 mLs that you're trying to deliver to the patient will be measured here where it connects to the patient, rather than back here where the circuit connects to the ventilator. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and click yes, we want to perform that pre-use test. So the first thing is that you want to connect the patient circuit to the device, and as you can see, I've already done that. The patient shall not be connected, which they are not, and then you want to make sure that nothing's blocking the end of the circuit. So I'm going to go ahead and click that OK button. The ventilator recognizes that there is a leakage patient circuit found. Is that correct? If it's not, you'll go ahead and click no. But we do have a leakage circuit attached to the machine. Okay, we have the basic passive circuit, and I'm going to go ahead and click yes. Okay, so now there's a list of instructions here that have to be followed. Number one, you want to make sure that everything or all the patient circuit accessories that are used between the Vivo and the leakage port. So if you're using a bacteria filter or an FiO2, external FiO2, or an active humidification source, anything that contains volume, you want to make sure that all that is connected so that the ventilator is compensating for what you have connected to the machine. Okay, number two, no patient circuit accessories used between the leakage port and the patient shall be connected during the pre-use test. So basically what that means is that if you've got a non-invasive interface, or you've got an inline suction catheter for a trach patient, you do not want that stuff connected. Number three, the leakage port shall not be connected. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and just remove that leak port. I'm going to try to do this with one hand. So, all right, so we've got the leakage port removed. Number four, the patient shall not be connected. And then number five, make sure that nothing's blocking the end of the circuit. So we're going to go ahead and click OK. So we're now doing a quick resistance test. And now we're going to block the end of the circuit. And we are going to click OK. And Our patient circuit type is recognized as a leakage circuit. The resistance, the leakage, resistance, compliance, everything is tested out okay, and we are ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and connect the leakage port back on the circuit. And again, trying to do this with one hand. And I'm having a little bit of difficulty, so just hold on 1 second as I set the phone down. Okay, so I've got the leak port connected, I've got our patient connected, and we're going to go ahead and start the ventilator up. So this is our standby button. We'll start right here. So by pressing and holding that standby button down for about 4 seconds, you'll see that the treatment is now started on the device. Okay, so I've got treatment going into the lungs. Okay, so I'm just going to set that down there on the floor. So what are we looking at here? All right, so on the left-hand panel, or the left-hand side of the monitoring screen, you'll see that there is a row of LED lights. So we'll start at the top. That top LED light is labeled TI. So when the ventilator recognizes a triggered breath from the patient, you'll see that that TI lights up for an inspiratory triggered breath. You've got 4 LED lights here that signify the type of power that's running the machine. This one is labeled AC power, the top one, so I've currently got it plugged in. This is your DC power source. You've got external battery and you've got internal battery. These 2 LED lights next to the triangle, this top one is a red LED for a high priority alarm, and then you've got a yellow light here for medium priority alarm, and then you've got an alarm silence. So when you silence the alarm, that LED light will light up. You've got 5 menu buttons on the bottom of the screen. All those menu buttons are labeled right above. So this one is currently labeled mode. Okay, this is our setup. This one is labeled alarm. This button is labeled monitoring. And then this button is labeled others. So these are our 5 menu options. And then over here, we've got 4 navigation buttons, up, down, left, and right. Okay. These will do absolutely nothing until you open a menu, and you're going to use these buttons to navigate through it. I've got a special I button here that I'll get to, and then we've got the alarm silence. Okay. All right, and that is basically the buttonology of the Vivo 65. Okay, so I'm going to do some specific videos as it relates to each menu, and we'll get into a little bit more detail as far as navigation and what each of the menus have to offer. All right, thank you very much.